Thanks! Oh, you have no idea what's there, but neither do I. Hi, welcome to the Art Hub, a place where we sometimes open strange packages. This is a crafter's mystery bag that you can sometimes find on eBay or Etsy or maybe your local Facebook crafters group where you can exchange the box of goodies. I got mine from AliExpress and it was less than $5 Canadian. I can't see what's inside. I do feel that there are some beads, but there is definitely something more. So let's dive in. Let's see what we can find inside. To prevent beads from rolling away, I use a regular felt mat. Wow, that's definitely more than I expected. I can see some set of beads, also some bead frames, and something that looks like chain and golden beads. In order to get a picture of what we have, let's sort it out. It looks like we have a set of chains of various lengths, also heart-shaped bead frames, as well as the round ones and square one, just one. Lotus pendant, hat pin, 2 golden beads, 6 10mm beads, 3 pastel swirl ones, 3 pastel gradients, 4 6mm beads, light blue one, some cracked glass style, and that's all. What can we make out of this? Click pause and write down your suggestions. Definitely not bad. At first I thought that the beads are plastic, but they turn out to be actually glass beads, which makes me super excited because I hate wearing plastic beads in summer. I would like something glass around my neck to keep me cool. Actually, there are a lot of options of what you can do with those beads, even if you're not a crafter. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 tutorials that are aimed at 3 different crafters level. The first one are total beginners. The only thing that you will need is a thread. Maybe some old earrings, that would also be nice. The second one would be, I would call it intermediate level, but actually it's not as hard. The only thing is you have to follow tutorial how to tie a specific shambhala knot. Not. We will need it for the endings, and that's actually it. The third one will be the advanced one, where you would need some pliers, some extra supplies, some additional chains, some jump rings. I think everyone can find something for themselves. So, without any further ado, let's get started. For this level, you will actually do not need anything, like almost anything, maybe a thread. So, what I want you to do is to try to scavenge hunt your jewelry box. I bet there should be a pair of very old hoops which are tarnished and you're about to throw them away. Don't do that. We can still save them and upcycle into something a little bit more trendy, a little bit more summery. In order to make our earrings, we will need only beads, nothing else. We won't need this part. Here are the hoops that I have. They are very old. I don't remember even when I bought them, and I was considering throwing them away for sure this time. But as a DIYer, I got a second thought. The first thing to remember is that this side is the end. Since the clasp is at the end, the most beautiful beads will be here and less sparkly will be at the end. Keep that in mind while designing a pattern. Firstly, let's sort our beads. Oh, this one is joined. I'm trying to undo it with my fingers, but as far as I know, you can snap it with scissors. And now I'm just continuing with my beads arrangement. This is the front bead. It will be put on the wire the last. And I'm also doing 2 hoops at the same time, so I have the similar pattern. We're taking the first bead from our row and put it the first on the wire. So whenever we pull it to the back, it will actually be the last one. Take your hoop and push it slightly apart. Don't overdo it. Now start threading the beads onto the earring through the clasp's headpin. Sometimes it can be slightly stuck. What I would advise you to do is slightly rotate it through the wire and then it will pass through. Great, it's practically finished. Now we have to disinfect with a rubbing alcohol the head pin of the earring because we were using fingers on it and to make it safer to wear. For this level, for this intermediate level, you will have to look for a cord or something more sturdy than a regular thread. I would advise jewelry cord. If you don't have it, you can get one from dollar store, but I would encourage you to look into your ribbon drawer. Sometimes the packages are packed using this cord, or there are some decorations where this cord is used as a base. Just take them out. Of course, if you don't need them anymore. If you do need them, please do not disassemble, leave them as it is. Try to find a tiny cord or a thread that has several threads woven into it. So it's a little bit sturdier because we're going to do the bracelet and it should have a good solid base. That's all what we need. We will need glass beads, golden beads, and some cord. I've already pre-cut mine. Wrap the cord around the circumference of your hand. Make sure it fully covers your hand and there are 3 extra inches of cord. And cut out the rest. Put it flat on the working surface. And now the most exciting part. Let's create a pattern with beads. We will use the golden beads as the endings. So let's leave them aside for the time being. This is one of my most favorite parts in beading, creating patterns. I love this color palette. Now, one by one, let's thread the beads. Actually, here the order doesn't matter. If you have a lot of smaller beads, you can put them in between the bigger ones in order to give your bracelet a little bit more of flexibility. But if you don't have them, that's okay. Yep, all done. Don't forget to center your beads. Make sure that both sides are even. And of course, check how it fits. I feel like I have ocean on my hand. Looks like I can add an extra bead to each side. We're going to use a very special sliding knot that is going to keep your bracelet put, but also allows flexibility in order to put it on and off. I'll try to show you how to do that, but if it's still confusing, here is the original video where I learned how to do this very special and useful knot. Isn't it great how easy you can slide one side of it? One more fit. As for me, it looks perfect. What about you? What do you think? Now let's make the endings a little bit more clean. Cut off the excess cord and then thread golden beads at each end and secure it with the end knot. Final fitting. Wow, it definitely turned out to be better than I expected. Literally ocean on your hand. On top of that, it is super comfortable. You can easily regulate the tightness with one slide. The last one, the most complicated one. We're going to try to get inspired by one Dior necklace, which includes a lot of dangling elements, a lot of chains, a lot of very interesting stones, and very interesting logo emblems. So for that, you will have to maybe look for extra chain, definitely for clamp clasp, maybe even extra beads if you have something lying around. This is actually the time for them to shine and to be finally used. Finally, we are doing the necklace. And here is a reference I'm going to use as an inspiration for this DIY project. Once again, looking through the beads and checking what I have regarding findings and components and making sure that I have everything to follow the reference. Without further ado, let's start. At first, we will try to rearrange the beads in a similar manner. As I mentioned before, this is one of my favorite parts. Nevertheless, it is one of the most time-consuming because it's very hard to come up with a perfect design on spot. Very often I have to rearrange the necklace several times and maybe give it a good sleep and then rearrange it once again. Now I'm rearranging all the non-beading components so I can know what is the length of the chains, how big the bead frames are, and maybe I can figure out why we have only one headpin. I even started laying out the chains. And I couldn't believe it, but it turned out that I have a similar chain. That's kind of relief. And here are some additional headpins. Here is an eye pin. I'm planning to thread each bead on this eye pin. These are the tools that I personally need to do that. I'm definitely not an expert crafter, and this is how I personally usually thread the beads on the eye pins or bend the actual eye pin. If you know any other ways of how to do that faster or easier, please let me know. I would love to learn those new tricks. So now you're gonna watch me pinning the beads, and that is the last step before a disaster. I thought that not properly closing the pin will actually make my life easier. I will kinda bend it almost to the end before assembling and only then close them properly. Boy oh boy was I wrong. That made my life a total mess. Each time I added a new bead, the previous one fell down, disrupting the pattern. And here it actually is. Imagine that happening like a million times. That's why, in some shots, my hands look so confused because I forgot the pattern. Always take a picture of your intended result. Always. Oh, here it is, a great example of do what I say, not how I do it. Or maybe something similar. This way of assembling the necklace was such a mess and such a disaster that I had to put it together outside of camera shot. I definitely like the idea of this necklace, but I don't think that the materials are right for it. I think that it needs something different. My gut feeling tells me that it should look nice, but somehow it doesn't, and I still haven't figured out what's the reason. What about you? What do you usually do when something doesn't go the way you expected and you don't know what's wrong? Wow, that was a lot. 3 DIY projects. By the way, which one was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. I would love to hear it, because I personally, it might sound a little bit surprising, but I like the earrings because I see a lot of use of them in the summer, and I love how all those beads look together. They give this very nice, a little bit edgy, but still very soft side. I am also thinking about the necklace because I really liked it, but somehow I think that beads with bolder, like juicier colors will look better in this kind of intricate lace of chains and dangling elements. I think something a little bit more bolder, like maybe red beads, would look much better there. They would be more popping, because I think that these beads, they are blending away with my skin. What do you think? Am I thinking it over too much? Maybe, because I don't want to disassemble that necklace once again, but what do you think should I do? But I still lean toward the earrings. Anyway, thank you so much for spending your time with me. I'll see you next time. Bye! Even though those beads are from AliExpress, they are very sturdy. They've gone through 3 DIY projects and none of them cracked. That's actually a very good purchase. Maybe I'll try it once again.